Hare Krishna. So welcome all
Hare
of
Krishna,
you devotees for today's Saturday Bhagavatam study sessions. So from last few weeks we are discussing from the beginning of Bhagavatam, where the glories of Supreme Personality of God Sri Krishna are being focused and elaborated. The glory of this Purana is that this Purana, Amal Purana, shows light specifically on that particular hero Krishna. Just like you have spotlight, like in a big auditorium when a famous personality comes inside, the spotlight focuses on him only. Wherever he walks, whatever he does, it focuses on that. The camera gets zoomed on him. So in the same way, the Bhagavad Purana is like that focus light, which not only in the 10th canto, in the beginning, from beginning of canto, it emphasizes the Supreme Personality of God Sri Krishna. So I'm very happy that most of devotees are taking great enthusiasm in attending and also sharing. And today we have a very wonderful devotee, Chandrasekhar Prabhu. And he's alone, not there. Behind him, there are many people sitting, or maybe in front of him. Exactly, I don't know. So
nobody is in backside.
Nobody in backside, huh?
Yes, Prabhuji. It is a Mridang.
Okay. Where are others? Mukund and others?
They were sitting, but they went for some other work.
Oh, okay. Are you doing some regular programs there in your place?
Prabhuji, actually, not actually, Prabhuji, I'm doing just my what were the 4 degree principle and 16 down that I am doing right now. And actually, Prabhuji, just I've shifted now, just before 1 year, 2 year, it's 1 and 2 year. So I have not started preaching at in a outside area. Just I'm preaching at my school only. That where I'm teaching.
Yeah,
Or there the students when I'm teaching the computer on that point of time, I'm giving some information regarding soul and whatever device and positive thinker. We have get the information from your side. So that's why I'm just sharing all this. But in not open side, I'm not going in open side to just preach this Krishna consciousness here.
You should start it. Very important.
Okay,
preaching. Direct preaching of Krishna consciousness will help your home become very spiritually enlivened. If you directly preach also, then keeping your home in a simple setup, in a simple whatever, you don't have to do a lot of things. At least your family members, they'll become enthusiastic. And we had a plan, myself and Radha Prabhu, to come to your place. I don't know. He has joined there. He has come. Radha Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Radha Prabhu has come there.
No, Prabhuji. He came before 2 and 3 years ago, but from the not last 2 and 3 years he didn't come. He came on that my sister marriage.
Okay.
Sister marriage he has came and with Sandeep Prabhu.
Yeah. So I know Chandrasekhar Prabhu from during my youth preaching time in local Calcutta. From that time we know him. Is known for his special dramas along with his younger brother Mukund.
Yes,
they used to do a very wonderful presentations. I know him how he is very consistent in his practice, and he had a lot of difficulty, challenges in his life from various perspectives, financial, health, and everything. Still, he went on. In his home, very wonderful culture is there. His father is also very dignified Brahmana, and his family is very loving and very reciprocative. I've been in his home for 2-3 times. I've come to your place. 2 times like that I came. At least I remember when you're in Calcutta.
Yes,
so now today's presentation he'll be giving on Bhagavatam 23rd, 23rd verse to 30th verse. Yeah, you will have 15 minutes, Prabhu. You can, as devotees might have been made aware of you. You don't have to read the shloka because anyway we'll do in our presentation. But you can speak on on each and shloka on certain points which you feel very important and emphasize. Okay. You can start with the prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Janmadasya Tonmayaditaraschaर्थेषु विघ्नश्वरार्तेने ब्रह्महृदाय आदि कवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरय तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्तत् सर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि धर्मः प्रोक्षितकैतवोऽत्र परमो निर्मत्सराणां शतां वेद्यं वास्तवमत्र वस्तु शिवदं तापत्रयोन्मूलनम् श्रीमद्भागवते महामुनिकृते किं वा परैरीश्वरः शब्दो हृद्यवरुद्धचित्तकृतभिः शुश्रूषभिस्तच्छनात् निगमकल्पतरुर्गलितं फलं सुखमुखादमितद्दवसंयुतं पिबत भागवतं रसमालयं मुहुरहो रसिका भूमिभावुका अहोवकीयं स्तनकालकूटां जितं सयापाय यदप्रसाद्वे लेभे गतिं दातृतां तुतुन्यं तं वादयालु शरणं व्रजेमः यं प्रभजन्तमनुपैतमपैतकृत्यं दैपायनो विरह कातर आजुहावः पुत्रेति तन्मयतया तर्वो विनेदुस्त्वं सर्वभूतहृदयम् मुनिमानतोऽस्मि यस्यानुभावमखिलः सुतिसारिमेकम् अध्यात्मदीपमतितीर्थिकतां तमुन्नं संसारिणा करुणयाः पुराणगुह्यं तं व्याससूनमुपयामि गुरुमुनीनां नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नस्तप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्ति भवति नैष्ठिके नमो ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी नितनामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देव्ये गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे नमो महावदन्नाय कृष्ण प्रेम पदाय कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामने गौरतसे नमः नमो ब्राह्मण देवाय गो ब्राह्मणताय जगताय कृष्णाय गोविंदाय नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि श्री गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So Prabhuji, actually I have yesterday I was reading this slokas. So Prabhuji, I don't get the 10 point, but I get the 5 and 6 point over there, which is I was not able to conceive as so much. But so I'm just giving. I have only 5 and 6 point data, which I like in different slokas. So Prabhuji, I'm starting from page number 23. Prabhuji, please allow me. Prabhuji.
Should I share the screen of the verses?
Yeah, Prabhuji, that will be very nice, Prabhuji.
चंदू प्रभु हरि बोल, ये आपने कौन सा स्तोत्रम अभी रिसाइट किया?
Prabhuji, it's from the Bhagavatam. It's the Bhagavatam. Janmadesya. Prabhuji has said the Janmadesya Dharma Prokshita. These are Bhagavatam slok in first skand, first adhyay. Okay, Prabhuji?
ठीक है प्रभु.
Okay. Sattam Rajas. Prabhuji, can I recite the sloka that I just start with the quotes?
You can directly refer to that quotes and like that. If you want to read fast, you can read. Others may not repeat.
Okay. Sattam Rajastama iti prakirte gunaste yukta para purkha ek ihasa siddhatte स्थित्यादते हरिवि विड़ी चिंता हरिति संज्ञा श्रेयांसी तत्र खलु सत्वतनु नृणांशयु. दिव्य भगवान प्रकृति के 3 गुणों सत्व रजो तम से अप्रत्यक्ष रूप से संबंधित हैं. वे भौतिक जगत की उत्पत्ति, पालन और संहार के लिए ब्रह्मा, विष्णु और शिव इन 3 गुणात्मक रूपों को ग्रहण करते हैं. इन 3 रूपों में सत्वगुण के स्वरूप श्री विष्णु से सभी मनुष्य परम लाभ प्राप्त कर सकते हैं. So in this verse, okay, English we have to speak now.
Up to you, Prabhu. Whatever you feel comfortable.
Okay, Prabhuji. So in this verse, I have read purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Prabhupada ji is telling in this purport very nicely that only Krishna from the Krishna Balram appeared और बलराम जी से जो है सो शंकरशन जी आते हैं और शंकरशन जी से नारायण और नारायण जी से विष्णु जी आते हैं, जो कि परमात्मा यानी क्षीरोदकशाही विष्णु के रूप में जाने जाते हैं। और वही जो है सो पुरुष अवतार हैं। और प्रभुपाद जी यहाँ पर बहुत अच्छा मुझे बताते हैं, जो कि मुझे अच्छा लगा, जो कि मैं बताना चाहूंगा कि वो बता रहे हैं कि GOD गॉड, जनरेटर, ऑपरेटर, डिस्ट्रॉयर। तो प्रभुपाद जी यहाँ बता रहे हैं कि अगर मान लीजिए हम लोग को अगर किसी के शरण में जाना ही है, ठीक है, तो हम लोग विष्णु के शरण में जा सकते हैं। इवन कि ब्रह्मा एंड शिव बोथ आर डिपेंडेंट अपॉन विष्णु, एंड ओनली द और जो शिव और ब्रह्मा है, इनको जो इन लोगों को दिया गया है उत्पत्ति और उत्पत्ति करने का और संहार करने का काम, ठीक है। तो अगर हम लोग को भक्ति में, यहाँ प्रभुपाद जी बताते हैं, अगर हम लोग भक्ति में अगर आगे बढ़ना है, ठीक है, तो हम लोग क्या करना पड़ेगा, वी हैव टू मेंटेन सतोगुण, गुडनेस। हम लोग को मोड ऑफ गुडनेस हम लोग को मेंटेन करना होगा, वी हैव टू मेंटेन द मोड ऑफ गुडनेस, देन वी कैन, देन हम लोग क्या होगा, देन विल कंसीव द भक्ति वेरी नाइसली। अदरवाइज अगर हम लोग रजोगुण तमोगुण में रहते हैं, रजोगुण में भी बताया गया कि हाँ ठीक है, रजोगुण भी एटलीस्ट तमोगुण से बेटर है, और शतोगुण wherever we can understand the Krishna consciousness very nicely. This point I understand very nicely, and I would like to also share one more thing here. And yes, and secondly, Prabhupada is telling here we don't have to surrender to the demigods, right? Because we surrender to the demigods, then it is just like कि हम लोग क्या कर रहे हैं कि हम लोग किसी देवता शरण में जा रहे हैं, यानी किसी हम लोग असिस्टेंट को पकड़ रहे हैं, बट लॉर्ड कृष्णा इज सेल्फ प्रेजेंट हियर, जो कि खुद बता रहे हैं कि आप मेरे शरण में आइए, सर्वधर्मान परित्यज्य माम एकम शरणम व्रज। इवन ऑल क्या है कि वी आर गोइंग टू द सरेंडर टू द डेमी गॉड्स, कि मुझे ये चाहिए, बट दे डिडंट वो हम लोग भविष्य नहीं देखते हैं, वो नहीं जानते हैं कि हमें भविष्य में क्या मिलेगा। हम अगर मान लीजिए अगर हमें बाइक चाहिए, तो हमें सही टाइम पर वो देवी देवता से मांगते हैं, बाइक मुझे मिल जाता है, उससे एक्सीडेंट हो जाता है। लेकिन अगर मान लीजिए हमको बाइक चाहिए और मैं भगवान विष्णु से मांगता हूँ, तो भगवान विष्णु देखते हैं कि इसका प्रारंभ में ये लिखा हुआ है कि इसको एक्सीडेंट होगा, तो भगवान क्या करते हैं, बाइक ही नहीं देते हैं उसको। मतलब एक बात बता रहे हैं, तो ये उनको वो बहुत वो बहुत दूर तक देख पाते हैं। और देवी देवता क्या है, वो लोग लिमिटेड, उन लोग के पास थिंकिंग है, वो लिमिटेड वो लोग देख पाते हैं, लिमिटेड वो लोग दे पाते हैं। और जो दिव और इतने सारे अभी भागवतम में मैं इधर में मैं पढ़ रहा था, छठा स्कंद में पढ़ रहा था अभी, तो वहां पर मैं पांचवा स्कंद में पढ़ रहा था। पांचवा स्कंद में भी वहां बताया गया है कि किस प्रकार से महादेव जी, शिव जी जो है सो प्रार्थना करते हैं, जो वो प्रचेता को जब वो ज्ञान देते हैं, तो प्राचीन बड़ी को जब वो ज्ञान देते हैं, प्राचीन बड़ी के पुत्र जो है उनको ज्ञान देते हैं, तो बताते हैं कि भगवान विष्णु हैं, और इवन की महादेव जी जो है उस स्वयं भगवान विष्णु का भक्ति करते हैं, भगवान विष्णु का भक्ति करते हैं, संकर्षण जी का ध्यान लगाते हैं। वहां वर्णन किया गया भागवतम में कि किस प्रकार से भगवान जो है सो भगवान का जो भक्ति है वो इवन की महादेव जी स्वयं करते हैं। महादेव जी बोलते हैं कि क्या नाम है, मुझे भी उनका मैं भक्ति करता हूँ, और मैं शंकरसन जी का ध्यान लगाते हैं। जब वो डिस्ट्रॉय करते हैं इस वर्ल्ड को, तो वो शंकरसन जी को स्मरण करते हैं, जो शंकरसन भगवान है, और उनके बाद में जाकर उनको शक्ति मिलता है कि वो ये डिस्ट्रॉय वाला वर्क कर पाते हैं। तो ये श्लोक है। इसके आगे जो है श्लोक है वो है पार्थिवाद्यारुणो धूमस् तस्मादग्निश्चैमया तमसस्तु रजस्तस्मात् सत्वं यद्ब्रह्म दर्शनम। प्रभु जी, आई एम इन सेकंड वर्स, 24 वर्स।
Yes, please continue.
पार्थिवाद्यारुणो धूमस् मादग्निस्त्रीमया तमस्तस्तु रजस्तस्मात् सत्वं यद्ब्रह्म दर्शनम। In this verse, Prabhupada ji, what the slok meaning here? Agni ki, Prabhu ji, you can, yes. Firewood is a transformation of earth, but smoke is better than raw wood, and fire is still better. And for by fire we can derive the benefit of superior knowledge through Vedic sacrifice. Similarly, passion, rajas, is better than ignorance, but goodness, sattva, is best because by goodness one can come to realize the absolute truth. So in previous shloka as we seen that यहाँ पर तीनों बताया गया कि ब्रह्मा, विष्णु एंड महेश. तो ब्रह्मा को क्या कहा गया है? सत्वगुण. विष्णु भगवान विष्णु सत्वगुण में है, ब्रह्मा रजोगुण एंड शिवजी तमोगुण. तो यहाँ पर बताया गया है कि जो तमोगुण है, तमोगुण से बेटर है रजोगुण एंड रजोगुण से बेटर है सत्वगुण. किस तरह बताया गया? जैसे यहाँ बताया गया है कि देयर इज वुड. वुड लकड़ी जो है उससे बेटर क्या है? जो स्मोक है वो. और स्मोक से उत्तम क्या है? अग्नि. अग्नि इसलिए बताया गया है, अग्नि को बेस्ट क्यों बताया गया है, बेटर क्यों बताया गया है? क्योंकि यहाँ बताया गया कि उससे हम लोग क्या करते हैं? वैदिक यज्ञ कर पाते हैं. ठीक है, यानी वैदिक यज्ञ कर पाते हैं. अग्नि से ही हम लोग वैदिक यज्ञ कर पाते हैं, यानी सतोगुण रहने से ही हम लोग कोई आध्यात्मिक कार्य कर पाते हैं. अगर अग्नि नहीं है, मतलब अग्नि नहीं उत्तम होगा, अगर अग्नि नहीं प्रज्वलित होगा तो यज्ञ लोग नहीं कर पाएंगे. उसी तरह यहाँ पर क्या बताया गया? अगर मान लीजिए हम सब, अगर हमारे जीवन में अगर सतोगुण नहीं है, हम लोग सतोगुण में अगर नहीं रह पाते हैं, तो हम लोग भक्ति के जो तत्व है नहीं समझ पाएंगे. हमारा भक्ति को डेवलप करने में काफी समय लग जाएगा. अगर हम लोग सतोगुण, रजोगुण तमोगुण को मेंटेन रखते हैं, तो होता क्या है कि हम लोग सतोगुण में न आने की वजह से हमारा भक्ति में डेवलपमेंट नहीं हो पाता है. हम लोग देखते हैं कि भक्ति में आगे नहीं बढ़ पाते हैं. इवन ऑल कि हम लोग भी देखते हैं, हम भी महसूस करते हैं कि जब कभी भी हम अपने आपको देखते हैं कि जब ज्यादा सो जाते हैं, जब बहुत ज्यादा हमारा हमको बहुत ज्यादा आलस लगने लगता है. तो आलस से क्या है? यह भी एक तमोगुण है. इट इज ऑल्सो साइन ऑफ तमोगुण. ठीक है, तो यहाँ पर प्रभुपाद जी अब चलते हैं. प्रभुपाद जी क्या बताते हैं? प्रभुपाद जी यहाँ पर बहुत सुंदर कोट किए हुए हैं, जो कि मैं लिखा हूँ. सेकंड, प्रभुपाद जी इसमें बताते हैं कि हाँ, with the help of this श्लोका, प्रभुपाद जी इज टेलिंग दैट कि what is श्लोका क्या कहता है कि जैसे लकड़ी से काष्ठ बेटर है, काष्ठ से जो धुआं है वो बेटर है, स्मोक इज बेटर, स्मोक से जो फायर है वो बेटर है. वैसे ही क्या कहा गया है कि जो भगवान विष्णु है, शिव जी से जो बेटर ब्रह्मा जी हैं, ब्रह्मा जी से बेटर यहाँ पर विष्णु जी हैं. विष्णु इज द सुप्रीम पर्सनैलिटी, वो सबसे ऊपर में है. ठीक है, तो हम लोग क्या करना चाहिए? व्हाट वी शुड डू? वी शुड बी सरेंडर टू द लॉर्ड विष्णु. दैट्स इट. इतना ही हम लोग कर सकते हैं, समझे. और अगर हम लोग महादेव और ब्रह्मा के शरण में जाते भी हैं, क्योंकि मैं अभी एक तो भागवतम है जम्बू द्वीप का वर्णन वहां पढ़ रहा हूँ 6ठा स्कंद में. वहां पर लिखा गया है कि कुछ ऐसे देवी देवता लोग भी हैं जो कि ब्रह्मा के शरण में भी लोग भी हैं. जैसे कि ये जम्बू द्वीप है, इस प्रकार से 8 और द्वीप भी हैं. उस द्वीप में अलग अलग ब्रह्मांड है, अलग अलग मतलब जैसे कि यहाँ हम लोग गंगा नदी बह रही है, यहाँ पर्वत है. वैसे क्या है, अलग अलग द्वीप में, जैसे जम्बू द्वीप हो गया, इस तरह से 7 द्वीप और भी हैं. ठीक है, और वह द्वीप में क्या कहा गया है, उसमें भी बताया गया, उसमें भी अलग अलग प्लैनेट्स हैं, उसमें अलग अलग, जैसे हिमालय पर्वत हमारे पास है, वहाँ कहीं सुमेरु पर्वत है, कहीं पर अलग अलग नदियां हैं. जैसे कि प्रियव्रत महाराज ने जब 8 प्रियव्रत महाराज जी ने जब रथ से जब सूर्यदेव का पीछा किया था, तो जो 8 ये पूरा वर्ल्ड जो है, पूरा सृष्टि जो है, सो मतलब 8 जो मतलब भागों में व्यक्त हो गया. ठीक है, और नहीं, ये तो इधर इससे पृथ्वी का जनरेशन हुआ. वहां बताया जा रहा है कि जैसे कि प्रियव्रत महाराज के जो पुत्र हैं अभी भी वो पर राज कर रहे हैं अलग अलग द्वीप के अंदर. अभी भी तो राज कर रहे हैं, राज करते थे बताया गया, वहां करते थे. जैसे कि आज मैं पढ़ रहा था, वहां ब्रह्मा जी का लोग भक्ति कर रहे हैं. पीपल्स आर मतलब कोई कर रहे हैं, वामन देव का पूजा होता है, कहीं पर में आपका ब्रह्मा का भी पूजा होता है. लेकिन अल्टीमेट यहाँ पर ये बताया जा रहा है कि अगर हम लोग क्या नाम है सतोगुण में स्थित रहेंगे और हम लोग अगर भगवान विष्णु की पूजा करेंगे, तो दैट्स इट, तो सबसे बेस्ट यही रहेगा प्रभु. तो प्रभु जी हम अभी हम यही 2 श्लोक को ही प्रभु जी एलोवेट किए, और 7:30 प्रभु जी हो चुका है. इट इज 7:30 नाउ. सो प्रभु जी, इफ यू प्रभु जी, आई वुड लाइक टू प्रभु जी स्टॉप हियर, एस प्रभु जी 7:30 इज हियर. बलराम गण प्रभु, प्लीज.
Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी. थैंक यू प्रभु जी.
Hare Krishna. Thank you Chandrasekhar Prabhu for speaking very sweetly. आपने बहुत आपने समझा रहे थे. आज की जो मेन टॉपिक जो डिस्कस करने वाले थे यही पॉइंट है, कृष्णा's वर्शिप वर्सेस डेमीगॉड वर्शिप. भगवान की भक्ति करना और देवी देवताओं की पूजा करना. जो भक्ति का जो शब्द है किसके लिए यूज करते हैं और पूजा किसके लिए यूज करते हैं. So I'm very happy that you have presented briefly and we will discuss now Thank you very much.
Yes, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, actually, I want to tell one thing, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, at least today at 8 a.m. I have to reach my school. So, Prabhuji, please allow me, Prabhuji, that I can move to my school.
Yeah, fine, not an issue.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for giving me the wonderful opportunity, Prabhuji. And Prabhuji, sorry, I have done some mistake for my words because I'm मैं निर्बुद्धि हूँ, but still you are giving the opportunities to me. So, Prabhuji, thank you very much, Prabhuji, and to all the devotees. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Please keep your presence every week. Okay.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes,
And
Prabhuji.
while going, if you are going like that, you can be on the Zoom without your video on or mic
Okay.
on, and you can attend like that also. But
Prabhuji, you know what happened? You know what happening, Prabhuji? At evening time now, there's no network in my area. But I don't know why. After the 5 p.m. there's no network in my area. Network एकदम रहता ही नहीं है. और क्या होता है मॉर्निंग टाइम में प्रभु जी क्या होता है ना 8 मैं आई एम वेरी मतलब बहुत ज्यादा इंटरेस्टेड हूँ फॉर रीडिंग द क्लासेस बट मॉर्निंग 8 AM मुझे वहां पहुंचना रहता है इसलिए मेरा शेड्यूल एकदम पूरा एकदम प्रभु जी सुबह का टाइम एकदम वास्ट हो जाता है 7 AM में अटेंड करवाना और रात के टाइम क्या होता है प्रभु जी यहाँ पे नेट रहता ही नहीं है एकदम मतलब कुछ भी नहीं चलता है कुछ नहीं यूट्यूब हाँ तो ये प्रभु जी मैं आई कैन वॉच द यूट्यूब वीडियोस दैट्स इट
one option nobody will watch this YouTube videos. One option is that on Saturdays if you have classes, okay, if you have the school and things, you can better reach early there. You know, if you can reach early there and attend from 7 to 8 there.
Yes,
if it's possible, because their internet will be available.
Yes, Prabhuji, it is possible. That is nice, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Thank you, Prabhuji. I will definitely, Prabhuji, for the next week I will be present.
Yeah, yes.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
चंदू प्रभु आपका जियो का कनेक्शन है क्या?
No, Prabhuji, it's Airtel है.
तब तो मैं हेल्प नहीं कर सकता. ठीक है.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Dhanram, Prabhuji.
Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namini. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaurate Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Ramosite Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Hare Krishna. So it is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's personal conclusion on Srimad Bhagavatam. So it's a very beautiful verse. One of you can recite. Who will recite? We'll go from down. Okay, again, South Uttam. Okay, we'll go from above. Akash Prabhu.
Yes,
Yeah, please recite after me.
Okay.
You are able to see the screen?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Aradhyo Bhagavan Brajesha Tanayas
Aradhyo Bhagavan Brajesa Tanyas
Taddhama Vrindavanam
Tadadhama Vrindavanam
Ramya Kachidupasana Vrajavadu
Ramya Kachid Upasana Brajavadu
Varge Nava Kalpita
Vargena Vakalpita
Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanamamalam
Srimad Bhagavatam Paramanam
Amalam
Amalam
Prema Kumardo Mahan
Prema Puma Artho Maha
Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhur Matamidam
Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhur Matam Idam
Tatra Tadharana Paraha.
Tadradharana Praha.
So this is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's personal conclusion on studying Srimad Bhagavatam. Or you can say personal conclusion on all the aspects of bhakti. So he says, Aradhyo Bhagavan Prajesha Tanaya. He says that the worship, the object of worship, the Aradhya Bhagavan, who is that Bhagavan? Vrajesha Tanayas. It's only to Lord Krishna. So when you say Aradhya or Bhakti, the Aradhana words takes its root from Radhika, Radharani. And it is Radharani is object of worship is Sri Krishna. Because Radharani worships Sri Krishna as the supreme object of worship. So therefore we accept Krishna as the object of worship. Aradhyo Bhagavan Vrajesha Tanayas. So Vrajendra Tanya, the son of Nanda Maharaj, Sri Krishna, is our object of worship. Tad Dama Vrindavana. And this Sri Krishna, he resides in where? The transcendental abode is Dama is Vrindavana. Ramya Kachit Upasana Brajavadu Varghena Va Kalpita. And the way this Krishna is worshipped the best is Ramya Kachit Upasana. The Upasana, the worship done by the Brajavadus. The Upasana, the worship, the way, the mood, or the techniques, the methodology, or you can say the appearance, the culture which the Vrajavadus have in relation with the Krishna is what we follow in our Vaishnava tradition. In our Vaishnava tradition, we wear the tilak, we wear the kantimala, we keep a shika. Why all we do these things? This is as per the mood and culture set by the Vrindavana, Vrajavasis. And certainly we may not wear the dress of a gopi and start apasampradaya, but we take the mood of the gopis. Vrajavadu Varghena Va Kalpita. So it is said that the worship for Krishna only has to be done, and that worship also has to be done in the mood of the gopis. Ramyat Kanchit Upasana. And this is opinion of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then he says, Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanam. He says, okay, you are speaking about a puja, but where is the reference? Like in South India, we are very famous of having many set of cults. Many types of pujas people do. There is one, people worship Sai Baba, and they have Baba Mala also, Sai Mala. They wear for 45 days. And like that, there is Ayyappa in the South Indian, Kerala. There also, there Shabarimala, they also wear the Mala. So, when honestly or you sincerely try to find the reference of it, now you don't find any references from Shastras, from Puranas or Itihasas. So any worship or any aspect which you are doing should have a reference from Shastras. It should be referred in the scriptures. If it is not referred in the scriptures, that type of cult or that type of practice is only disturbing the society. It will only create a disturbance in the society. Therefore, it says the Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanam Amalam. So this Amala Purana Srimad Bhagavatam is the reference, or you can say that it gives that authority, a spotless authority, over the worship of Sri Krishna in the mood of gopis. Prema Pumardho Mahan. And the ultimate artha, the gain which everyone is looking is prema. Love for the goal of life, the artha, prema Pumardho Mahan. And whose opinion it is? It is in my opinion or your opinion? No. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Matamidam. It is the opinion of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Tatra Adharana Paraha. So he says, this is the final opinion or conclusive opinion of Chaitanya. Therefore, when all devotees are taking seriously the study of Srimad Bhagavatam, they should have this concept very clear. The person whom we are focusing or spotlighting is Krishna. And the bhakti for Krishna Hare Krishna. So there is a power cut. I think that's why. So bhakti for Sri Krishna should be done in the mood of gopis. And the reference of all these things, how detailing of everything is given in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Therefore, we follow the 5 potent forms of bhakti, which are given in the practice and the culture of the Vrindavana Vasis, Vrajavadus. These 5 potents are this is Sadhu Sangha, Nama Kirtana. In the Sadhu Sangha, in the devotees association, we practice. Just like the gopis had association of each other. In that association, they used to practice. And then in that practice, what they used to sing the glories of Krishna. What Krishna did yesterday night, or what Krishna did a few days back in the morning in the forest. Namakirtan. In like that way, they used to do different bhajans and also discuss various glories of other pure devotees from Srimad Bhagavatam. It's not that gopis are cowherd girls and they don't had any knowledge of what the Shastras are. They know the wonderful stories of Prahlad, Dhruva, and everyone. And they used to glorify these personalities. In that way, they used to do the Bhagavata Shravana. In the association of the other gopis, they used to sing the glories of Sri Krishna and name qualities and pastimes. And like that, they used to also discuss the glories of the other personalities who have surrendered themselves to Krishna. But in a way, sometimes it is criticizing Krishna. Just like gopis one time they mentioned, see Krishna, you cheated Bali Maharaj. Bali wanted to surrender, but you took a disguised form and came and took away everything from him. So this is their actually glorification of Lord Vamandev. That's how they are doing Bhagavata Shravana. And in the while doing these 3 things, because in Sadhu Sangha, these 2 are very important. Nama Kirtan and Bhagavata Shravana. Hearing and chanting. Hearing and chanting are very, very crucial in the association of devotee. If in association, if you are not doing these 2 things and doing any other thing, it won't be consistent. That association cannot be nourishing to you, or not that type of association cannot consistently go on for a long time. And in this way, when that association is strong enough, it creates such a vibration around that it creates the experience of staying in a holy place, Madhuravas. So in the association where Nama Kirtan and Bhagavad Shravan happens, then only they can experience the Vrindavan, a transcendental environment around. And with these 4 things, to go on stably, the worship of Sri Krishna should be kept in the center. So Sri Murti Shraddhaya Seva. When a devotee is in that association, hearing and chanting, they are inspired to serve Krishna in the form of deity worship. This is how the entire ISKCON temples are focused. And that is what expected to focus. Or not only ISKCON temples, even your own individual Bhakti Vrakshas which you may do. These 5 things has to be kept in practice. In that associate Bhakti Vraksha or in any community of devotees coming together, these 5 things should happen. If these 5 things consistently, regularly happens, then you can say it's a very potent place for Bhakti. Bhakti Vriksha means Bhakti hona chahiye. सिर्फ वृक्ष बढ़ाना नहीं चाहिए. वृक्ष बढ़ गया है तो फिर क्या होता है, उसके साथ अलग अलग चीज जो जरूरी नहीं वो भी बढ़ जाएगा. सो भक्ति होना चाहिए उसमें. भक्ति होगा तो भक्ति वृक्ष होता है. In this way we see that this particular episode where Srimad Bhagavatam is like a spotlight highlighting on the worship of Krishna. Now, when we come to these verses, we will share the. And this Srimad Bhagavatam is a personification of Sri Krishna himself. This is one of the questions which the sages asked in their what you call in their question to Sutta Goswami, that where the Dharma took shelter after Krishna left. So in answer to that question, the Sutta Goswami answered that Dharma has taken shelter in Srimad Bhagavatam. So Bhagavatam and Bhagavan are non-different. And this is what here we have discussed it earlier. So who will recite to me after this? Okay. Amit Dudev Prabhu. You're there? Haribol?
Hare Krishna, bro.
Yes, sir. So you can recite this particular verse after me. Okay. Padau yadidau pradama dvitiyau.
Padau yadidau prathama dvitiyau.
Tritiya turyau katitau yad uru.
Dvitiya triyu.
Tritiya turyau katitau yad uru.
Tritiya triyu kathete yad uru.
Nabhistada panchama eva sasto.
Nabhistatha panchama eva sasto.
Bhujantaram dho yugalam thatanyam.
Bhujanam taram dor yugalam tatha yo.
Kantastu raja navamo yadhiyo.
Kantastu rajana navamo yadiyu.
Mukaravindam dashama prafullam.
Mukharavindam dasham prapalla pulam.
Ekadasho yasya lalatapatham.
Ekadaso yasya lalata pattam.
Shiropitu dvadasha eva bhati.
Shiropitu dvadas eva bhati.
Yeah. So Bhagavatam is compared to Krishna's body. And this what? The lotus feet is the first canto and second canto. Lord Krishna's thighs are compared to the third canto and fourth canto. Krishna's navel is compared to the fifth canto, from where creation took place. You know that from Nabi of Vishnu, Brahma comes and then he creates the entire universe. Like that, the navel part is the fifth canto. Chest past is compared to the sixth canto. Sixth canto, the Ajamila section, where Lord's love for his devotee is expressed. So chest is the heart, where heart is residing. So Krishna's heart is he wants to protect his devotees, irrespective of what situation they may go through. Similarly, arms 7 and 8 cantos are compared to the arms of Lord. With arms, what we do? We fight. With arms, what we do? We protect. We embrace those who are friendly and we fight with those who are enemy. So that's what we see in 7th canto and 8th canto. Prahlad Maharaj and Prithu Maharaj stories, they come, where Lord Nrsimhadev, with his arms, he has pierced the body, Hiranyakashipu, Tanubringa, he has pierced the body of Hiranyakashipu and then went ahead. So the 9th canto is compared to the throat of the Lord. It's kind of one of the beautiful limb of any personality. He is one of the beautiful limb which is taken into consideration of a personality there, that the khanta, the throat. And Lord Ram's glories are explained there. He the voice of a person. What he stands for, we come to know. And that was the 9th canto, Lord Ram's Maryada Purushottam, Bhagavan Sri Ram. His leelas are explained in the 9th canto. And in the 10th canto, lotus face. The lotus face is compared to the 10th canto, Srimad Bhagavatam, where actual identity of a person is being, whether it's Aadhaar card or PAN card or any card, you see the face is being identified. So we see Krishna's pastimes is the face of the entire Srimad Bhagavatam. The 10th canto is the face of Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay. And then there's a forehead. He speaks about the 11th canto, where visionary things are being spoken. Krishna speaks visionary things, Uddhava Gita, and other aspects come in that 11th canto. And 12th canto, the top of the head. Where the ultimate shelter where person should focus on is a chanting of Hare Krishna, where one should take shelter, or you can say it is the topmost thing which a person. Like that, the 12th canto speaks about the glories of the holy name, chanting of Hare Krishna, and the ultimate perfection in this Kali Yuga, which is filled with a lot of anomalies around them. So in this way, we see Bhagavatam is highlighting on Krishna, and Bhagavatam is itself Krishna. It's a Gandha avatar, Krishna avatar. Before he came as Mahaprabhu, Gaur avatar, he has appeared as Grandha avatar, Bhagavatam. Krishna avatar, when he left, Grandha avatar appeared. And in order to expound the glories of Grandha avatar, Gaur avatar is appeared. So in this way, we see a very beautiful amazing connection between Krishna, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Srimad Bhagavatam. So this is one thing which I wanted to focus today. So how in Srimad Bhagavatam, the object which is spotlighted is Krishna, and Bhagavatam itself is Krishna. So now we'll come to another very important discussion which I would like to take ahead. Yes, yeah. So we saw there are certain questions which the Sutta Sonakadi Rishis asked Sutta Goswamis in the first canto. We will just briefly go through that. So there are total 6 questions. These are the initial discussion. So these 6 questions are asked by the Sonakadi Rishis to Sutta Goswami. Shaunaka was representing all the audience, and he was speaking these questions in front of Sutta Goswami. What is the ultimate good for people in general? And what is the essence of all the scriptures? There are so many scriptures which are given by Vyasadeva and other personalities. So which has to be taken into reference? Or should we take some essence of it? हम वो सबको क्रीम करके एक पर्टिकुलर बुक बनाना चाहिए. What is the essence of it? And then third thing is why Krishna appears, the purpose of Krishna's appearance. Why Krishna appears in this metal world? We see him that he performs very wonderful Leela activities and he disappears. वो क्यों आया है फिर? यानी वो जाना है तो क्यों आया है? क्या पर्पस है उनके आने का? They wanted to know. And they also wanted to know about the Purusha avatars and Leela avatars, the 4th and 5th question. Lord Krishna is not alone coming. He comes in his various incarnations. He manifests many through his energies, various forms. So we would like to know about those Purusha avatars and Leela avatars. And the 6th question is, after Krishna disappeared, where the Dharma has taken shelter? Because it's very essential that we to understand this so that we can refer in our own life and also refer to others to take shelter of that particular thing. So please let us know where the Dharma is taken. In answering to the 6 questions, so the second chapter explains the first 2 questions. What is ultimate good for people? The ultimate good for people in general is Bhakti. And what is the essence of all the scriptures? The essence of all scripture is Bhakti. Just like essence of Bhagavad Gita, we take. Bhagavad Gita is considered like the fruit or the Vedic tree. And that Bhagavad Gita speaks on Bhakti. So in this way, Bhakti is the ultimate good for people in general, and Bhakti is the essence of all the scriptures. Devotional service. Now, this question of devotional service, this process of devotional service is elaborated in the 2nd canto Srimad. We'll just refer to those which we discussed last time. It said that Bhakti should be done for Krishna, And but irrespective of what conditional activities you may be involved in, but varna and ashrama, as per varnashrama, you cannot give a bhakti. In fact, bhakti is the ultimate gain which you get to prescribed activities. So irrespective of what varna and ashram you may situate, please perform bhakti. And this bhakti is a very great science. And this science has the different processes which are included. And that is what here we see that these are the different processes of bhakti which a person does. There is Ram Kripa. There are 14 stages. How the development of bhakti happens in a devotee. When one understands the essence of life is to practice bhakti, then in the association of the devotees, he practices all these 14. Or you can say he experienced these 14 stages of development. Satam Kripa, causeless mercy of a devotee. That is the first thing which happens. Let's say today, today and tomorrow, in Kharagpur, there is a alumni meet is happening. All the 2001 to 2005 batch devotees assembled in Kharagpur for both from Kharagpur and Jamshedpur. And I see that we all came in bhakti while we are studying in Jamshedpur because of some devotees. They showed the Satam Kripa. They are the devotees who came all the way from Kharagpur, taking a train, local train to Jamshedpur, coming there, and they used to take a bike. They used to rent a bike for a day, and with that bike they used to come to our college. And after coming to the college, they used to wait for us to return from our college classes, and they used to wait and wait for us, and we used to go. And after we get fresh up in the evening, there used to be a session. Evening from around you can say 6 to 8:30, like that we used to have a session. And after the 8:30 session, he used to go, and we don't know where he used to go. He used to just leave and go ahead, and next day he used to again come. After some days, we realized that he used to go in station. He used to go back to the railway station and sleep in the railway platform. Because he can't ask us to, that we can sleep in his room, in our room. So we felt, how much a devotee takes pain and sacrifice in order to help the living. Satam Kripa. And the Satam Kripa Mahaseva, service to devotees happen. We also are inspired to serve devotees. And while serving the devotee, then the Shraddha develops on loan. You see, without service, just taking association is not beneficial. You want to take association, you must do some service. With the service, what happens? The Shraddha increases. Shraddha increases. Because in the service, you get to see the many other aspects. You get to realize the practice of Krishna consciousness more properly. If somebody says, "Na Prabhu, whole day I will just hear and chant and read and write exams." If one person feels like that, I will do only these 4 things. I will do my hearing, chanting, reading, and then I will, or sharing with others. That's all. I will not do any service. Then that bhakti won't be materialized. That bhakti don't get materialized, manifested within one's heart or within one's practices. It becomes like, on a mental platform, a devotee thinks that I am become advanced. This is one of the great risks which can happen in a devotee's life. If you think that, no, I am hearing, I am reading, I am chanting, and I am focusing on my bhakti, that is not bhakti. Bhakti should be selfless. The desire to help others, desire to serve great devotees, desire to help those who are in need by preaching Krishna consciousness, and desire to be friendly with other devotees and cooperate for the purpose of higher cause. These behaviors has to be kept in practice. Because if this behavior is not in practice, only in the mental platform you remain as a devotee, that is not very beneficial. It has to be materialized. The mood with the culture has to be materialized very properly. So sometimes devotees fear actually rendering services. Why they fear rendering services? Why they fear actually? Because they feel that again the material type of contamination may creep in. Well, that is a challenge. If you cannot take this challenge, just like some devotees phoned me up and they are telling Prabhu, from quite long time you are staying outside, uh, not in the association of the devotees in the temple atmosphere, and you are really getting into many other responsibilities. Yes, sometimes you have to keep in practice by rendering service. So I see this as an opportunity where I can render service to my parents when they are in need. It's a necessity. When there is a crisis, you are there. And naturally, it's a challenge to keep your focus on pure devotional principle and go ahead. It's a challenge. By rendering this type of services, your bhakti gets manifested in all forms. Not only in a mental platform, you remain at a physical level, and through your senses, through your feelings, through your experiences, you can experience Krishna. You can see Krishna in that way. So this is very, very crucial service. In the service, what happens? The faith develops in the devotee association. In what you hear, you develop faith. In what you read from Prabhupada books, you develop faith in that. Otherwise, you just read and understand, but your faith may not be strong enough. Just because you know things doesn't mean that you have faith. Okay. Many times we know many things, but doesn't mean that we have faith. Faith has to be, faith is awarded to us by service. When render service is taking challenges, then the faith is awarded. In this way, we see that how the stages of bhakti go ahead. And after Shraddha comes Guru Padashraya. One person is inspired to take shelter of Guru. Just wait. I would like to. You're able to hear?
Yes, Prabhu.
So we see that how by taking a shelter, you're inspired to take shelter of a guru and follow his instructions in life. In this way, one practices bhajana. Bhajana is priya. Is eagerness to worship, Krishna, inspired by the teachings of the guru and instruction of the guru starts, and that becomes his life and soul. Life and soul of a disciple is that he wants to give his hard earned intelligence, hard hand money, hard hand endeavors, everything. He wants to engage in the service of his spiritual master, the service of the Guru. He makes it their life and soul. And he focuses all his bhajan, what he does, hearing, chanting, reading, an association of devotees, staying in a holy place, worshipping the dead, everything he will keep in the center of, everything he keeps them in the center of the service to Guru, in the instructions of the Guru, as per the mood and mission of the spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada. A devotee aligns himself in all these aspects. In this way, bhajana becomes very intense, and that is bhakti. And then naturally all the anarthas which are troubling the devotee, anarthopagamam, disappearance of all obstacles happen gradually. It's an internal work. It's not always external work. Many times devotees are interested to set their external things. प्रभु मैं अभी घर शिफ्ट किया, इधर अच्छा सेटअप कर दिया, इधर मैं अच्छा मंगल आरती कर रहा हूँ, ये कर रहा हूँ, वो कर रहा हूँ. These are certainly, these all will help you. But internal transformation happens only by keeping all your bhakti practices, or all your occupational duties and conditional duties centered around serving instruction of a guru. If you cannot take a particular instruction of the guru as your service, as a life and soul, you won't be driven in. You won't see the progress. The progress won't happen in the direction. And then, because you've taken service of Guru seriously, Krishna understands this. For the sake of assisting the Guru, he will remove whatever unwanted things from your heart. Sometimes you see in a 4G, when they admit people in the 4G, when emergency comes, then when for the sake of serving the nation, they just take the soldiers irrespective of what qualification they may have. So similarly, in this Kali Yuga modern age, we are like in an emergency where warfield of Kali is being very strong. In order to face that in the warfield, face that opposing army of Kali, it's very crucial that we assist the commander, assist the commander in chief, Senadipati. Senadipati is Srila Prabhupada. When you take up that commitment, okay, I will assist Srila Prabhupada, then actually everything is arranged for you. Whatever disqualifications you have, that may be waived off, and whatever qualifications are necessary, that are awarded to you. That is what Anadhopagama, Nishta, and that's how the devotee becomes very steady in his practice. And then Ruchi, Asakti, Rati, Prema, Darshanam. And then we see Harer Madharu. So these are the 14 stages which we explained in the last session. Elaborately on these aspects of 14 stages. So Bhakti is the ultimate good for people in general, and Bhakti is the essence of all the scriptures. And after elaborating this aspect, now question comes to an individual. This is a sub-questions which are asked by Saunakadi Rishis there to Sutta Goswami. They ask that if Bhakti has to be done, there are many demigods. There are many, we have the Purusha Avtaras, the Guna Avtaras, the trilogy of Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh. So now, when you are saying, my dear Sutta Goswami, you are saying Bhakti has to be performed. So whom the Bhakti has to be performed? Can we do Bhakti for others also? Can we do Bhakti for Durga? Can we do Bhakti for Ganesh? Can we do Bhakti for Surya? Can we do Bhakti for Shivji? Can we do Bhakti for Brahma? Or can we do Bhakti for Vishnu? What we have to do? Actually, Sutta Goswami want to say you have to worship only Krishna. He wanted to say to everyone that you have to worship only Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But in order to bring to that stage, he's taking today one session called Gods and Demigods. The next 6-7 verses which are being elaborated from 23 to 30, these verses speak about, these 7 verses speak about how Krishna's worship is the ultimate. And you can do Bhakti only for Krishna. And whatever you say Bhakti for others, that is not pure Bhakti. It is motivated with some material desires. Either it is motivated with karmic desires, karma, or it is motivated by jnana, or motivated by mukti. Desire to get liberated and desire to be free from all the anxieties. In that way, people worship Shiva, people worship Durga. That's how they become the Shakta worshippers, Shaiva worshippers. That's how some people worship Ganapati, Ganapatyas to attain perfections. Some people worship Surya, Shaurvas to attain health. Some people worship Shakta, Durga to attain material pleasures. Some worship Shiva for attaining Mukti, liberation. But Bhakti can only be for Krishna. In order to establish it, and many of them who are sitting there, they are like Vishnu glorifiers, not Krishna glorifiers. For them, Vishnu is like a stalwart than Krishna. So now, in order to bring them to that level, he speaks these 7 verses. So 23 to 29, this is being emphasized how Krishna only has to be worshipped. So we will see those verses as discussed earlier by our Prabhuji, Chandrasekhar Prabhu. We'll again refer to those verses and see from there how this particular, yes, he explained. Chapter 2. So basically, we will see this elaboration. Krishna worship, Vishnu worship, Shiva worship, and Ganesh worship, Brahma worship. That's how he is trying to. He doesn't speak on other demigods because all the munis and sages who are sitting there, they have that clarity at least. So he directly comes to the 3 main people. Just like Bhrigu when he sat. When he sat, they were discussing about who is topmost. who is topmost among Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh. So they don't come to down again the down level. Maybe Kartikeya, like in South people are from Kerala. Kartikeya may be more powerful than Krishna. Or some may say Sai Baba, some may say that Baba and this Baba, and some say Jirendra Shastri, that God. Or it may happen like that. Na? People may start speaking some others to be God and things like that. Huh? So that is not the. So here the sages who are sitting there, they are at a little basic level of spiritual understanding they have, where they want to know about these avatars, guna avatars, sattva, rajas, tamas, guna avatars. One point is mentioned in the today's presentation that Lord Vishnu is not in goodness. It's not that Lord Vishnu is in goodness. Lord Vishnu maintains goodness. And Lord Shiva maintains ignorance. It's not that Lord Shiva is in ignorance. And it's not that Lord Brahma is in passion. Lord Brahma ensures the aspect of passion, the guna, to be controlled. He controls it. So therefore, they directly speak on guna avataras. The three guna avataras, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, guna avataras. That are Vishnu, Brahma, and Shiva. Yesterday in the Bhagavad Gita session, we are discussing Gudakesha. A, Kha, Sha. A means Vishnu, Kha means Brahma, and Esha means Shiva. And Gudakesha, Arjuna is addressed as Gudakesha because his relation with Krishna is so sweet that so sweet and transcendental and a very high platform that Shiva, Vishnu, and Brahma, see all these three personalities want to taste that sweetness, which Arjuna has for Krishna, the Bhakti. They want to taste that Bhakti. So that's how even these three Gunavataras appreciate Bhakti for Krishna. So, but in order to bring to that level, here Sota Goswami speaks this verse. Okay, somebody would like to recite, who will after Amritendu Prabhu. You are there? Haribol? Hare Krishna. Amritendu Prabhu, you are able to hear? Okay, anyway. Aruna Prabhu. Aruna? He is also not responding.
Prabhuji, I can recite, Prabhu.
Yeah, Shobna. Sattvam rajastama iti prakriter gunaiste
Sattam rajastama iti prakritir gunaste
yukta para purusha eka hihasya datte
yukta para purusa eka ihasya datte
sthiti adaye hari virinchi hareti samnya
sthiti adaye hari virinchi hareti samyagna
Shriyam tatra kalu sattva tanor nam shiyu. Haribol? Hare Krishna? Somnath Prabhu, have you recited the last line? Shriyam se tatra kalu sattva tanor ninam shiyu. So sattvam rajastama iti prakrite gunaiste yukta para purusha eka vihasya datte. So sattva, rajasa, tamas, these are the three gunas. And the goodness, passion, and ignorance. These are the materialist nature qualities, the gunas which are there. And these gunas are being predominated, or you can predominated by certain deities. Sattva guna is being predominated by Lord Vishnu. And Rajas guna is predominated by Lord Brahma. And Tamas guna is being predominated by Lord Shiva. He says, the transcendental personal Godhead is indirectly associated with the three modes. And just for the material world's creation, maintenance, and destruction, he accepts the qualitative forms of Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. Of all these three, all human beings can derive ultimate benefit from Vishnu. Shreyamsi tatra kalu satvo tanor nanam shreyu. Hari Virinchi Hare. Hari means Vishnu, Virinchi means Brahma, and Hare means Lord Shiva. So Sattva, Lord Vishnu is compared to the Sattva Guna, or is a predominating deity of the Sattva Guna. And Virinchi, the Brahma, is the predominating deity for the passion, Rajaguna. And Hare, Hara, Hara Mahadev. Mahadev is a predominating deity of Tamas Guna. So he says the best benefit a living entity can derive, human being can derive, is worship of Vishnu. So first he brings to that level. Okay. Among the worship of Shiva, Brahma, and Vishnu, the Vishnu worship is considered topmost. Or you can say a person can derive benefit from it. But in order to explain what is this benefit, he gives an analogy. Like here in the purport also, Prabhupada explains how it is Lord Vishnu who creates the entire material universe. So that is like another, guna, Purusha avatars. We will be discussing on that more elaborately, because one of the question which is asked. But here he wants to establish the bhakti is only for Krishna. In that he explains the guna avatars from Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh. So in the next verse, he elaborates by giving an analogy. An analogy of what is that? Okay. Who would like to recite? Aruna Prabhu was back, or Amritendra Prabhu, they are not. Atul Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Atul, or Shivani, whoever is there. And nobody is responding. I don't know what is happening. Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Please recite.
हाँ.
Parthivaadharuno dhumas.
पार्थिवादादरो नो धूमस्
Parthivaadharuno dhumas.
पार्थिवादारो नो धूमस्
Tasmat agnistriyamaya.
तस्मात् अग्निस्त्रयी मया
Tamasastu rajas tasmat.
तमसस्तु रजस्तस्मात्
Tattvam yad brahma darshanam.
तत्त्वं यत् ब्रह्म दर्शनम्.
So in Bhagavad Gita it says, Aham adirhi devanam. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is explained that Krishna says, Aham adirhi devanam. There are many Devatas. There is Brahma also, there is Vishnu also, there is Shiva also. And among them, Krishna says, Aham hi adirhi devanam. I am the original, or I am the source of everyone else. In Bhagavatam, in the conclusion also, this particular verse comes, where is at the Brahma Varuna, Indra. Brahma, Varuna, Indra, Vayu, everyone, all of them are glorifying. They're keeping their hands folded and taking shelter of Lord Sri Krishna. So in this way, Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, they highlight on this personality Krishna. So in this particular earlier verse, it is said that of all the three Gunavataras, Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh, Vishnu's worship is considered very beneficial. So how it is very beneficial? The analogy is explained here. Parthiva dharuno dhumas. So he said the firewood is a transformation of earth. You see the fire, the wood which comes is coming from earth. Tree comes from the earth. And smoke is better than the raw wood. The smoke is a little better than the raw wood. Because at least there is some transformation. Heat is there. It may not give light, but there is a heat in that smoke. And fire is still better. So he compares the wood, which is a transformation of the earth, to tamaguna. There is a lot of things within the wood, but it is not manifested yet. And he compared the smoke, which is beneficial because of its experience of heat, the warmthness which it gives. Like in naturopathy, there is a steam therapy, steam bath. A person is made to lie in a room where a lot of steam they give, and the steam will heal the person. Steam is beneficial, na? More beneficial. It will give a lot of healing. It heals. And many of the big companies, the boilers, they work on the principle of steam. In our kitchen, in our Albert Road Temple kitchen, they have a boiler. With the steam, the entire use of amount of rice will be cooked. Cooking happens because of the steam within that. A fire is there, but fire directly it will burn the rice. But the steam will help to boil and make it soft. The rice, it gets cooked because of the steam. You see the functioning of the steam is there in many places. Steam. So steam is better than the wood, but more better is the fire for fire generator. So in this way, Vishnu is compared to the fire. Because with that in the yagna, when you are offering ahuti to the fire, actually you are offering ahuti to Lord Vishnu, who is actually Indra, is actually Brahma, is actually the Shiva, is actually the Vayu, is the original one. So in this way, this comparison, analogy is given. So Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur, however, he says that smoke is better than wood, but you take another way. Can you generate from smoke fire? No. But if you take a wood and keep in contact with the fire, immediately the fire is generated. Is it not? When you take fire directly in front of the wood, then immediately the wood also becomes fiery. But smoke, jitna bhi aap sometimes we experience in our Kartik Yatras. Govardhan Puja, we used to cook, keep some wood and start a fire. But more than fire, the smoke comes out. And the smoke, it comes out. It comes so much that you can't cook also. And you feel very painful in your eyes. And not only you feel painful, you also see that other devotees are getting disturbed by that. So in this way, we see there is a what you call less benefit of generating fire, or less chances of generating fire from smoke than from wood. So in this way, wood is better than smoke. This is what Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur says. Basically, by this, what is concluding? That Lord Shiva, the worshippers of Lord Shiva are more prone to become devotees of Krishna than worshippers of Brahma. Or the people who are in the mode of goodness, in ignorance, are more likely to transform into devotees. Ignorance means what? Not that lazy. Ignorance means they're not interested. They have hardly any understanding of spiritual aspect. They can immediately take to devotional service. Just by that contact, they need that contact. They need the contact of a devotee. So Bhakti Vriksha should act like a fire. And in that fire, you bring wood. Don't get smoke. Smoke is people who are oriented with a lot of material aspects. They're material, they're living a material life, but not all people are aspiring for material development a lot. Those who are desiring for name, fame, glory, wealth, and everything, and they're too much endeavoring on this aspect. No, you can't make them into devotees. No, but it's like a smoke. Not only they burn their own eyes, they burn other eyes also. They can't be effective in spiritual aspect. Therefore, you need to have, or you want to really affect the people's life and make them into devotees. You need people who are like about a goodness level or an ignorance level. They're best. So Vishnu Thakur's comment is very amazing. Now. You see, from wood you can generate fire, but not from smoke. Smoke will simply disturbing the eyes. It's a time waste. But from wood, you can immediately bring in the fire, it starts becoming fiery. And Srila Prabhupada's preaching in the West, you see this type of technique used. He caught the most degraded people. Even the American government rejected those people. And Prabhupada went and caught them and made into pure devotees. Because Prabhupada was fiery. by his own fire of bhakti, he could transform, he brings the transformation. Therefore, this particular Krishna Thakur tells, however, as per the analogy, that wood is, smoke is better than wood, but actually wood is more what do you call, more compatible in order to make into fiery than the smoke. So therefore, he says that Lord Shiva, the worshippers of Lord Shiva, or you can say not just like direct worship of Lord Shiva, those who aspire in that Shiva, in the Shiva worshippers, or that type of orientation, where they want to be free from the this material entanglement, they can become devotees of Krishna. You need to catch them. You need to give that association. Or those who are not interested in any material aspirations or developments in life, they want to live a not have understanding about what is life and what is the goal of life. They could easily be taken. If the mind is like clear slate, you can write it down. And Prabhupada wrote in the minds of those people. It's a very, very interesting, very important verse also. Pardiva dharano dumas tasmat agnis trayimaya tamasastu rajas tasma sattvam ed brahma darshanam. So now we'll go to the next verse, which will So after establishing Vishnu, worship is very beneficial, and because by giving the analogy of fire, now he explains this worship of Vishnu is not only done by me. Suta Goswami is explaining this. Okay, Suta Goswami is explaining that many Mahajanas have done that. So who will recite after this? Atul Prabhu is there? Shivani, is Atul there?
Actually, Prabhu, he has gone for bathing. So that is why, yes.
Yeah. Fine. And who will now recite after him?
Yes, Prabhu, I can do that.
Oh, Krishna Rajput. Good. Vejire munayot tagre
Bhejire munayo tagre
bhagavantam madokshajam
bhagavantam adokshajam
sattvam vishuddham kshemaya
sattvam visuddham kshemaya
kalpante ye anutan iha.
kalpante ye nutanaja.
Please read the translation.
Previously, all the great sages rendered service unto the personality of Godhead due to his existence above the three modes of material nature. They worshipped him to become free from material conditions and thus derive the ultimate benefit. Whoever follows such great authorities is also eligible for liberation from the material world.
Yeah. So after telling that Vishnu worship is very beneficial, and telling that how the mode of goodness is a platform where you can practice it, and you can influence the people who are in the mode of ignorance more than the mode of passion, and to make into Vishnu worshippers or Krishna worshippers. And after explaining all these things, now in this particular verse, he says how the great Mahajanas, great authorities in the Vedic scriptures, they also followed the same path of worshipping and taking benefit of Lord Vishnu's worship, Lord Vishnu association. And they not only liberated themselves from the material entanglement, they also set a path. They made a path for others also to follow. Mahajanayagata sapantaha, the path which is traversed by the Mahajanas. That's what in Bhagavatam you see many personalities, many Mahajanas. We have 12 Mahajanas, which is explained. Narada. Yes, Narada worshipped Lord Krishna. Is Narada who has transformed many personalities like Brahma is one of the Mahabhagavatams. Brahma himself worshipped Krishna. In the form of Brahma Samhita, you see, Brahma Samhita is a proof of how Brahma had hearty relationship and with Krishna. And Lord Shiva, in the form of Rudragit, we see, or in the form of the discussion which he does with Parvati on Srimad Bhagavatam, you can see when Shiva worships Lord Krishna. These are Mahajanas, Kumaras, Chatur Kumaras. They were anchoring to see the Lord Vishnu. And that's how they go into the Vaikuntha without any having earlier permission or approval, whether he can meet or not. They went directly because they're eager to see Lord Vishnu. Lord Krishna. So in this way, you see all the great Mahajanas who are there. Kapila Dev, to his instructions to Devahuti, Mother Devahuti, he explains how the worship of Krishna is considered topmost. In this way, all the Mahajanas have set in. Prahlad Maharaj is one of the Mahajanas. Janak Maharaj. So all these personalities have worshipped Krishna. Or you can say Vishnu worship is what they highlighted in life, in their own life, and also set a path for others to follow. And now we'll go to the next verse where Sutta Goswami is elaborating on this particular aspect of how, when you are worshipping Vishnu, what type of mood and respect you should have for other personalities like Brahma, Shiva, or other demigods. In the 26th verse. Just because you're worshipping Krishna doesn't mean that you become hatred toward demigod worshippers. And it's not that you start disrespecting the demigods. Otherwise, that type of culture or that type of behavior is not pleasing to Vishnu or Krishna. The Vishnu Bhaktas or Krishna Bhaktas should be very sensitive. Prabhupada said they should be gentlemen. They should deal very appropriately, not only with other living entities, even with the demigods. They should be very careful when dealing with the demigods. They should be respectful towards them. All other Devi Devatas. So, Momoksha. So who will recite after Krishna Maharaju? Kamaraju Prabhu. You are there? Haribol? Yeah. Mumukshavo Ghora Rupan. Haribol, you are not audible. You are not audible. Hare Krishna, Kamaraj Prabhu. Okay, fine. I don't know why the sound is not coming. So if Kamaraj is, I'm not able to hear the voice. If others are able to hear, that's fine. Rajiv Pandey.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Where were you? Okay, we went again back to the next number 24,
Yeah.
26.
26.
6.
Mumukshavo Ghora Rupan
Mumukshavo Ghora Rupan
Hitva Bhuta Patinnata
Hitva Bhuta Patinatha
Narayana Kala Shanta
Narayana Kala Shanta
Bhajanti Hi Anasuyava.
Bhajanti Hi Anusuyava.
Please read the translation.
Those who are serious about liberation are certainly non-envious, and they respect all. Yet they reject the horrible and ghastly forms of the demigods and worship only the all blissful forms of Lord Vishnu and his plenary portions.
Yeah. Those who are serious about liberation are certainly non-envious. Okay. See, in the beginning of Bhagavatam also we heard the word Anasuya. So the devotee should be Anasuya, non-envious. And especially those who are looking for Bhakti in their life. They want to develop love for Krishna. They should not have any hatred for anyone. The moment you are developing hatredness or you are envious of someone, that means you are not growing in your spiritual life. Forget about demigods. Even other living entities you cannot be hatred or envious of. Envious means actually you are blocking your heart to grow in terms of bhakti for Krishna. That's it. And they respect all. That means what? That they're pure devotee. The Mahajanas also respect the demigods like Shiva, Brahma. They worship, they respect Vishnu's avatars, different avatars. They respect other demigods, Agni, Varuna, Vayu. They worship Durga, they respect Durga and everyone. It's not that they're disrespectful or they're envious of them. Sometimes we see this very immature dealing which people, devotees sometimes express that they don't offer respects to demigods. They speak ill about demigods. This is not very good. It's very offensive. For example, you say, I love Prime Minister, but I don't like his all other ministers. That means you're actually putting down the Prime Minister. So when you say that these ministers, these demigods are appointed directly by Krishna, and Krishna knows them more better than us. And when they are given a particular positions and powers and abilities that is awarded by Krishna, who are we to come in between and try to judge on that personality? Rather, we should be respectful toward them. We may reject that ghastly worship of that from the demigods. We may not worship specifically in the Ganapatya way, or we may not worship the Surya in the Saurashtra ways, or we may not worship Shiva in the Shaivite way. We may not worship like that, but we cannot be disrespectful of them. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the way he respected, he took darshan of, after taking darshan of Jagannath, he used to take darshan of Vimala Devi and add the prasad. And he used to go to Lingaraj temple and glorify Lord Shiva for his great devotion to Krishna. In this way, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has shown an example how we should be respectful, and at the same time we may deny the worship. Because in that worship there are motivations oriented. So we should be very careful, not disrespecting demigods. We may not accept the worship of demigods, but we cannot be disrespectful. The real worship of the demigods could be by chanting Hare Krishna. If you get an opportunity to go to any demigod temples or things, or because of your culture and setting up, you have to go. You just do Hare Krishna Kirtan. That's what I do. Whenever I get opportunity where I go, okay. With respect and gratitude to that personality, you may glorify him with certain shotras which are given in the scriptures. But along with it, you can focus on highlighting on chanting of Hare Krishna, because even these personalities like hearing Krishna Kada and Krishna Kirtan. When you do that setup of chanting Hare Krishna and do Krishna Kada, they become very happy. Sometimes some of our devotees do the Bhakti Vriksha programs in temples, of demigod temples. Because that setting is very good, environment is very good. They invite other neighbors and everyone there, and they conduct programs there. They're sitting in Durga temple and discussing Krishna Kada and Kirtan. Wonderful, no problem. But you cannot sit in ISKCON temple and worship Durga. And worship Surya or do Ganapati Puja or Shivaratri or what do you call that? Or Durga Puja. It's not, sometimes I see devotees, they keep the status as glorifying that particular demigod and worship of the demigod. Okay, you can glorify the demigods in relation with Krishna, not otherwise. You can glorify a demigod in relation with Krishna. In this way, you're respecting their position as a servant of Krishna. But individually, separately, glorifying, elaborating, और स्टेटस में लगाएंगे दुर्गा का नवरात्रि हो रहा है, नवरात्रि में दुर्गा वैसा है, all these things, that is it shows how mature you are in understanding of the demigods. Or after worshipping, after taking shelter of Krishna, you're running for some other husband. Already you accepted one husband, Pati, and Gati, everything, and then you go for someone else. This is not recommended. So this is what the 26th verse speaks about.
Prabhuji, one question.
Yeah, you can write it down. So I'll complete this very easy. Last two, 3 verses are there next time. 27. So can you recite? Aruna Prabhu, I was asking you to recite that time you are not available.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. Please recite. Rajastama prakrite
Rajastama prakrite
samashila bhajanti vai
samasila bhajanti vai
pitribhuta prajeshadin
pitribhuta prajeshadin
Shiyashvairya Prajepshava.
Shriyashaiva Prajepshava.
Yeah, please read the translation.
Those who are in the modes of passion and ignorance worship those in the same category, namely the forefathers, other living beings, and the demigods who are in charge of cosmic activities. For they are urged by a desire to be materially benefited with women, wealth, power, and progeny.
Yeah. So this is the conclusion of Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam Amalam Puranam Paramardhamo Kumar. Bhagavatam is concluding. Some say that, Are Prabhu, I am doing bhakti for Ganeshji, I am doing bhakti for Lord Shiva. What Bhagavatam says, sorry. The moment you say that I am worshipping Shiva and things, with pure bhakti, not possible. Because that motivation, you are influenced naturally by the mode which they are controlling. If you are worshipping Shiva, you are controlled by the mode which they are controlling, the mode of ignorance. And any other worship you do, you are controlled by mode of ignorance and passion. And who are these? Those in the mode of passion worship Pitras. Though there are Pitraloka, like in Bhagavad Gita it comes, Yanti Deva Vrata Deva, Pitrananti Pitrvrata, Bhutani Yanti Bhutecha. So there Krishna speaks about 4 types of worship. One worship is for Pitrus, the forefathers. There are many people in the south, we see that very prominently. They worship their Pitrus regularly, consistently, offering water, offering food, doing dana, charity, and everything in the name of the forefathers. The Pitraloka, they go to Pitraloka. And Yanti Deva Vrata Deva. And there are people who worship the Devi Devatas with a desire for wealth, gain of wealth, power, progeny, and wealth of women. They worship and they get these benefits. It's like directly. They are influenced. They have to be influenced by mode of passion ignorance. And they have this desire very strongly in their mind, in their worship. And that's how these worships are given, awarded in this material world. These are given in the Shastra. Otherwise, after giving such type of consultations only, he was feeling dissatisfied. But I have misdirected many people in many directions. I have diverted all of them from the main focus. Okay, आपको अच्छा सुंदरी पत्नी चाहिए, worship Durga. पति चाहिए, worship Shiva. सिद्धि चाहिए, worship Ganesh. So in this way, people are being directed on different types. अच्छा health चाहिए, worship Lord Surya Dev, Surya Bhagavan. So in this way, I have misdirected them. They are misdirected, and they have these motivations. 2 things are spoken here. They are influenced by mode of passion ignorance, and they are motivated. They are motivated with the desire for Pratishta, woman, wealth, power, and progeny. They worship Pitrus. Why they worship Pitrus? So that their generation go ahead. They want their own sons to do that Pitrus. Supaksha and other things. So therefore, he is not only rejecting demigod worship, but telling that those who are worshipping demigods are also having ill motivation and they are rejected. And that cannot be bhakti. You cannot say that I'm doing Durga Bhakti, Vishnu. You cannot say I'm doing Brahma Bhakti, Shiva Bhakti. There is no Shiva Bhakti or Brahma Bhakti or Durga Bhakti or Ganesh Bhakti or Ayyappa Bhakti or Sai Baba Bhakti. These all are actually having some motivation behind. There's a motivation for name, motivation for desire for wealth, power, and like this, and progeny. So all these types of motivations are there behind the demigod worships. And they are influenced by Rajas and Tamas, these two aspects. And after explaining this in the 29 and 20, 28 and 29, he further elaborates on Krishna's supreme position. Here I would like to share one particular, See, among the Ganatas, Vishnu is to be worshipped, is spoken here. And 26, 27, rejecting demigod. Devotees reject the ghastly forms of demigods without being. So they reject the demigod worship, but they are respectful to demigods. See, actually, no demigods fear, or they don't mind, you worshipping Krishna. But you say that I am Krishna Bhakta, but you are secretly maintaining a desires for wealth and women and power and progeny and worshipping demigods. That is very insulting to demigods also. So better be in one boat. Better accept Krishna as ultimate husband and go ahead. There's no fear of anxiety, but you have to fear criticizing demigods. You have to fear envy in your heart. You have to fear the the envy and hatred in the heart which we may develop. You have to be careful with that. Just by rejecting demigod worship, you are not rejecting demigods. Okay, clear? Just by rejecting demigod worship, you are not rejecting demigods. You are respectful, but you are not rejecting worship because it's ill-motivated. And they are overpowered by the guna of passion and ignorance. And he says Vasudeva. It's a very beautiful verse. I think the verse is being spoken here. I will show that verse. So who will decide? Kamaraj, you did? Okay, he is not able to speak. Rajiv.
Yeah, Prabhu, I can decide.
Vasudeva Paraveda.
Vasudeva Paraveda.
Vasudeva Paramakha.
Vasudeva Paramakha.
Vasudeva Parayoga.
Vasudeva Parayoga.
Vasudeva Parakriya.
Vasudeva Parakriya.
Vasudeva Param Jnanam.
Vasudeva Param Jnanam.
Vasudeva Param Tapa.
Vasudeva Param Tapa.
Vasudeva Paro Dharmo.
Vasudeva Paro Dharmo.
Vasudeva Paragati.
Vasudeva Paragati.
Vasudeva, the name Vasudeva, the Lord. Who is that Vasudeva? Son of Vasudeva. That Vasudeva is son of Vasudeva. Sri Krishna is the Paraveda. And is the Paramataha, Parayoga, Parakriya. So we see in the translation. In the ultimate object of knowledge, Paraveda is Sri Krishna. Any shloka from Bhagavad Gita which speaks about this Paraveda? Oh, Vasudeva is a Paraveda. Any shloka? Any devotee would like to recite or speak? Vedaischa sarvair ahameva vedyo vedanta krit videva cha. Bhagavad Gita, this particular verse comes. Vedaischa sarvair ahameva. Of all the Vedas, I am to be known. That is what Vasudeva Paraveda. And Vasudeva Paramakaha. of all sacrifices, the sacrifice for Vasudev is the best. Sacrifices are meant for him. Any verse from Bhagavad Gita? If anyone remembers, Bhoktaram Yagna Tapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. Yagna Tapasam, Bhoktaram Yagna Tapasam. Actually, by yagnas, you are pleasing Lord Vishnu, Lord Vasudeva. By yagna, in any yagnas, you do on Agni, Varuna, Vayu, and everyone. This Agni represents Vasudeva. This Vayu represents Vasudeva. Lord Vasudeva is the original Agni, original Vayu, original Indra, like that. It is Vasudeva Paramataha. Vasudeva Para Yoga. Of all the yogic processes, the object of that yoga worship is Vasudeva. Any shloka from Bhagavad Gita which speaks about that Vasudeva is the ultimate object of yoga? Yeah, anybody? Anyone want to share? Yoginam api sarvesha madgatanantaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yoma. Of all the yogis, those who meditate upon me are the topmost. The yogis actually meditate on super soul. But those yogis, the devotees who meditate while chanting Hare Krishna, or while rendering worship of Krishna on the different limbs of Lord Krishna, they are considered the topmost yogis. Vasudeva Para Yoga. Vasudeva Para Kriya. Para Kriya means of all types of occupational duties one performs. Through to activities one performs. The purpose of performing fruitive activities or the object of performing fruitive activities is to attain Krishna. This already we discussed earlier. From all prescribed activities, what we are doing, they are meant for karma. Karmano yatram. In Bhagavad Gita, this comes, karma samudbhavaha. Yagnat karmano yatra. Tokoyan karma bandhana. The Yagnat karmano yatra. Actually, yagna, the purpose of performing your activity should be for Krishna. And if you perform your prescribed duties other than Krishna, that will bind you. That is what this particular shloka and Bhagavad Gita speaks about. Vasudeva Parajnanam. The essence of all the jnana is Vasudeva. Any particular verse from the Bhagavad Gita? Like Vedesha Sarve Rahameva Vedo Vedanta Krit Videva. That also speaks about that. Jnana, the ultimate jnana is Krishna. Vasudeva Parajnanam. And also we see in the 13th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita that 18 items of knowledge are explained. All 18 items of knowledge are meant for attaining Krishna. The object of that jnana is Krishna. So in this way, we see that how Vasudeva is the Param Jnana. The object of the ultimate knowledge is Vasudeva. Best. And Vasudeva Param Tapaha. Tapasya. We see Dhruva Maharaj performed Tapasya. Dhruva Maharaj performed Tapasya and attained Krishna. The Tapasya is meant for that. The yogis perform the Tapasya. Or Bhoktaram Yagna Tapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram Tridam Sarva Bhutanam Jnatamam Shantamikshati. For the Yagna Tapasam. Yagna Tapasa is the ultimate, the enjoyer of the Tapasa is Vasudeva. Vasudeva Paratapa. Vasudeva Para Dharmo. Of all the religious principles, the Vasudeva is the topmost. The object of all the religious principles is Vasudeva. See, when you perform tapasya, it is to purify oneself. But you want to get purified so that you can worship. Get it? You want to worship, you want to get purified so that you can worship Krishna. You can serve Krishna and please Krishna. Like that. So Vasudeva Paro Dharma. Of all religious principles, the ultimate goal or object is Vasudeva. Savai Pumcha Paro Dharma Yato Bhakti Adokshaje. The Paro Dharma is Yato Bhakti Adokshaje. The bhakti to the Lord Vishnu is the, or Adoksha Krishna is the topmost dharma. And Vasudeva Paragati, Paragati, ultimate, what they call goal of life. Right? So in this way, we see how Vasudeva is being highlighted in these two verses. This is what we see. Vasudeva Paradharmo, Vasudeva Paratapa, Vasudeva Parajnanam, Vasudeva Parakriya, Vasudeva Parayoga, Vasudeva Paramata, Vasudeva Paraveda. Like that, all these, the ultimate goal is Vasudeva. And after explaining till 29th verse, answering to the first two questions, question 1 and question 2. Now, Sutta
What is the
Goswami,
meaning of Vasudeva Paramakha? Makha, M-A-K-H.
Maka means Kriya, activities.
Okay, bro.
No, Maka means, 1 minute, just wait. Paraka means sacrifices, yagna. Maka means sacrifice.
Okay.
Yagna karmano yatram. No, yagna. Performing yagna, your actually object of yagna worship is Vishnu. Okay? You can say Maka means sacrifices which you perform.
Yeah, just like there is a one sloka in Bhagavad Gita. Yeah, pro yagna sister sino santa muchanta sarva klivisa. And that in that way it's explaining here all the sacrifices.
Yeah. You saw that particular verse comes, na? In 3rd chapter it comes. Na?
Yes, true.
Yeah, the performing activities, then you karmano, yajna karmano yatra, lokoyam karma bandha. Hare Krishna. Yes. So Paramaka means sacrifices. Like some people perform sacrifices by doing prescribed duties. Some people perform sacrifices, actual sacrifices. Like a mother sacrifices for the child. And a soldier sacrifices for a country. Like that, we do certain sacrifices.
So is this sacrifice depend on their level of attachment?
Yeah, obvious. Na? For example, what the sacrifice a devotee does is that hearing. He does the sacrifice of hearing. He gives his time, energy in hearing the glories of the Lord. And in that way, the ultimate purpose of hearing is that you can object of, the object why you are hearing is Krishna. Therefore, you are hearing. Everyone, yes, certainly, at different levels, people are there, they do different sacrifices. They sacrifice for a certain cause. Like while staying in a family, you have to sacrifice, you have to compromise, you have to sacrifice certain things. But when you're doing the sacrifices, you have to see the object of the sacrifice is Krishna, none other than Krishna. It's clear to you?
Yes, bro. Yes, bro.
Yeah. And sacrifice also means the direct yagna worship, which people do. Like Dasharatha Maharaj did Putra Kamesh yagna. The purpose of doing that yagna is he wanted to have Lord as his son. And he got Lord Ramachandra as his son. He did sacrifice. And sacrifice also means other activities, prescribed duties which we perform for the sake of society. That object of that sacrifice also is Krishna. So basically what Sutta Goswami is telling in these two verses, he is telling that bhakti can happen only for Krishna. Okay? Other demigods के साथ भक्ति नहीं होता है. वो सिर्फ मुक्ति का इच्छा होगा या फिर काम की इच्छा होगा. और रजस और तमोस की धारणा में, गुणों की प्रभाव में रहते हैं व्यक्ति. इसलिए you do only worship of Krishna, but at the same time be respectful to other demigods. You cannot deny demigods. Because demigods are being awarded their particular positions by mercy of Krishna only. Who are you to come and interfere in that? And then he says that Then what to do if I want to perform activity? You want to develop my knowledge? Should I do anything? Yes, you do all these things because the ultimate object of all these things is Vasudeva only. The knowledge, revealed scriptures, what you're reading, the sacrifices which you're doing in our life, or the yoga, yogic processes, you're doing mystic paramparalia, siddhi is what people do. That is Vasudeva has to be attained. Jnana, which you develop, tapa, which you do, tapasya, the austerities which you do, that is for purpose. Why do Nirjala Ekadashi? Why do Ekadashi Vrat? It's for Krishna we do. Not that now you do Ekadashi Vrat so that 15 days there should be some fasting from grains. Not for health purpose. You do it for purpose of Vasudeva. Like that. So that's what it explained. And after explaining, elaborating on the Bhakti aspect, till here, Bhakti is for Vasudeva. Now, in the next verses onwards, from 30th verse to 34, this is the conclusion of second chapter. He explained the next two questions, which we will be discussing in the next chapter. So next reading section, Rajiv Prabhu, if you are there, you can, Kamaraju is there here, Kamaraju Prabhu, or he left.
Prabhu, I will inform him. No issues.
It will be from the verse number 30, and then we'll go till next 10 verses of the third chapter. Okay, like that will go.
Okay, Prabhu.
Okay, yes, now we can conclude here. Thank you very much for all your presence and patience here. Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Shri Prabhupada ki, Jai.
Jai.